Sorry. Did you guys get this breaking news alert? I'm serious. Education City is now on lockdown after several schools received bomb threats just a few minutes ago. News comes amid intensifying construction at Hamad bin Khalifa University, which is now blocking every major road on campus and hampering evacuations. Meanwhile, several students have reported seeing a tiger roaming around campus. It's not clear whether the animal has escaped from one of the HPKU dorms or is in fact a background dancer for a secret new music video Kanye is going to be filming at the Education City ceremonial court tonight with Janet Jackson. But students have been passing around an image of Kanye riding the tiger via WhatsApp and Snapchat. There we go. That's my photoshopping skills. So if these are stories that have bubbled up in Education City in some way, shape, or form, real or true or not, in the last 2 years. And chances are, if today you got a message about one of these things, you'd be trying to find out more information. You'd be contacting your friends, you'd be on WhatsApp, you'd be on Twitter, Facebook, saying, did anybody see anything? What's going on? Is there a picture? In short, you'd be looking for multiple sources, you'd be looking to verify it, and if possible, you might actually be tempted to go out there and see what you could for yourself. And that's the basic job of journalists. Hopefully I would know I am one. But that's what journalists do on a daily basis. That's their job. Their job is to find out what's going on, get as many sources as possible, make sure it's credible, and then present it to the audience, to the users, the readers, the community, promptly, accurately, and in context, given you why this is important. Has this happened again? Is there a history of tigers on campus? But in Qatar, it's often problematic. It's easier said than done. I come from the US. I came here about 7.5 years ago. And over there's kind of this, journalism is romanticized. It's very lofty, not in the fact that they pay you a lot of money, but in the notion that you're changing the world by being a journalist. It's very romanticized. Whereas here, there's not that background. It's very lowly paid, which is not different. But there's not really any culture of transparency, of openness. You call somebody up and you say, can you tell me a little bit more about the story? No, I can't, but next week I might be able to get you some comment, or maybe next month. I'll see what I can do. No promises. When you actually do get through to somebody and they're willing to talk to you, they don't want to be named. Even if they're the spokesperson of a company, they say, but please don't use my name. So you present a story afterwards that says, unnamed source number 1 says this, but anonymous source number 2 disagrees. Anonymous source number 3, however, concurs with anonymous source number 1. And that's not going to really present a lot of credibility. It's not going to grow confidence in you as a news outlet from your audience. People aren't going to believe that story. You could say it could be anybody. It's maybe their cousin that they interviewed and didn't tell us her name. So beyond that, there's the fact that nobody wants to do stories that might be seen as culturally insensitive. Whatever that means, it's not pinned down. But, is that something that's allowed? Can you report on that? Is that okay? For us at DohaNews, it's something I'm involved in DohaNews. But that's something that we get questioned for all the time. How come you guys haven't been shut down yet? Why would we get shut down? We're just reporting the news. And then there's commercial interests. There's the fact that if you get your money from an advertiser and you run something negative about them, then they just might pull their advertising, and then you're not going to have any money to pay your lowly paid reporters. There's a lot of reasons why journalism is not always the best here. And there's lots of complaints. People like to complain. And the best place to do that is on Twitter. So Northwestern did a study last year, and Northwestern here in Qatar, they did a study saying that people in Qatar prefer to find out news and information, or rather, the most important source of news and information is online. Not the traditional news outlets, not TV, not the 7 newspapers, daily newspapers that we have here, not the radio stations, not magazines, but online, with all its insecurities and incredibilities and all the nonsense that everybody feels free to tweet. That's the most important source for news and information for people here. And that makes it very clear to journalists that they're doing something wrong if nobody trusts them, so to speak. And it presents an opportunity as well. It means that you have to adapt, you have to change what you're doing. I was with Al Jazeera for 4 years, and that's why I came out here. Initially, when they were launching back in 2006. And that was kind of one of the things that we had to get our heads around as well. Say, for an international audience, make sure that we're not just preaching from on high, everybody takes your word for it, but that you're a little more inclusive. And not just putting information out there on Twitter and Facebook, but also engaging with people. We launched a blogs platform, and part of the idea there is changing the tone, changing the style. It's not just the facts, but here's what people are saying as well. And weaving in non-traditional sources, Twitter updates or blog posts, that sort of thing. In 2009, Shabina, my partner in more ways than I can count now, launched a Twitter account called DohaNews. And Twitter, it had already been around for a couple of years, but it wasn't that popular in Qatar. So it was one of the first news organizations here to be on Twitter. It wasn't a news organization, it was just her personal Twitter account. But she was tweeting news information, because already people were having trouble finding out what was going on, and this is one way of sharing that with her, with people. And since there, we've been lucky to see it evolve. We've seen a lot of people coming to us and asking us for more, and we said, okay, well, if you want it, we'll give it to you. So it's become, it launched as a blog on Tumblr a couple years ago, and then we expanded it as an independent website now. And that's kind of the notion that we've been trying to stick with and maintain, the notion of community and how they can work with us and how we can work with them and how we can all get that news and information out there. Because we face challenges as journalists, you face challenges as consumers or users, the community, and we're trying to work together with you to get that information out there. The best example that I can think of about that was in 2012, May 28th, the day of the Bellagio fire, when 19 people unfortunately died on that day. For me, it started just before 11 o'clock. I was at the computer, and I saw a tweet. Somebody sent a message to @DohaNews saying, what's going on at Bellagio? There's smoke over the mall. And I thought, oh, that's weird. But, I mean, every day there's some small fire at some villa somewhere. So that in itself is not outside of the norm. But then another minute later, somebody else sent us a tweet. And another minute later, there was a third tweet. And then after that, there was a picture. Somebody sent us a picture saying there's smoke going up over Bellagio. So I said, okay, we've had multiple people telling us about this. We know a lot of the people that tweet at us on a regular basis. So we know, okay, we've worked with them before, we can trust what they're saying. And when you have multiple people telling you this, then I said, okay, we don't know what's going on. Nobody's answering the phone at Carrefour or at the central desk at Bellagio. But let's post a photo up, say people are reporting that there's smoke coming, billowing up over Bellagio. Does anybody know more? It's not really much of a news story per se, because we didn't offer much in way of facts. But immediately we had dozens of photos coming to us. People inside the mall, people outside the mall saying the sprinklers are on, people are being evacuated. Actually, no, the alarm's not on. No, people are just standing around gawking. But the news was coming in, the information was coming in, and then it was our job to try to filter it out, say, okay, is this something that people are asking? Is this something that people are saying? How many people are saying it? How credible is that? And at the time, there was maybe 3 of us working on DohaNews. There's 2 of us in the country. So Shabina and myself, we said, is one of us going to run out there? But we decided, well, there's enough people there, there's enough information coming in, let's maintain what we're getting, let's put it out there, and we started publishing in real time. And that was something that nobody else was really doing. Today, if it happened again, we hope it wouldn't. I don't know how it would be covered differently. Because that's just not something that traditionally newspapers or TV or radio does. They don't do breaking news, they don't do live news, they don't do live updates. So even just as a Twitter account and blog at the time, we were having people sending us messages saying, I'm trying to find my children, I'm trying to find my husband, what should I do? And we were able to pass along the information from authorities saying, if you're at Bellagio, you're not able to find your child, head to Hamad Hospital, and you might be able to find some answers over there. And it was actually through Twitter that people reached out to us. We were able to confirm the unfortunate news. Somebody passed us a number. We talked to one of the parents who was there, who said, I've just been to the morgue, and we saw 12 other bodies there. So it's a tragedy, and it's kind of it's a story that wouldn't have been told, and wouldn't have been told in the depth and the level it was, had we not been involved and been able to communicate with our community. A year and a half later, it's obvious, it's evident that online is more important and just as beneficial as ever. There's new publications, Just Here and Qatar Chronicle are websites that do news as well. All the major newspapers, I think, have relaunched their websites. And everybody is just more connected. There's more tools, more platforms to use. Everybody's online. But if you're not engaging, if you're not sharing what you know, what you've seen, then whether it's as benign as Kanye shooting a music video or the rumors of a tiger running rampant, then those stories just aren't going to get out there. So my message is share what you know, and that'll help people. Thanks.